Shawn Lynch. I'm joined by Shawn Jansen, and this is the Shawn and Shawn Show. Our third installment of the basketball season, and we're at about midway point of conference play for CCC especially.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting week. A lot of fun games this week. You got the crosstown rivals Wednesday and Thursday for boys and girls, and then some big matchups on Friday night with Turlock coming to Golden Valley, and on the girls' side, you got Atwater against Buhack on Thursday night, so it should be fun.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for some teams to either get themselves back into the mix or to distinguish themselves from the rest of the pack. So it should be a big week. Before we get all of that, we got Tony Hillyer stopping by.
A big win against Turlock on Friday night kind of saved their season there. He's going to stop by, chat about that win, about their big week coming up.
And here's some sights and sounds.
Get up there.
Let's take a look at the CCC boys race in the CCC. We got three teams tied atop the conference: Golden Valley, Turlock, and Merced. They're all 3-1. A lot of them are going to be playing. Golden Valley plays both Merced and Turlock this week, so like we said, it should be an interesting week. Looking at last week, Golden Valley, kind of a slow start against Buhack, but then kind of had their way. Kind of same thing against Pittman. They were down 1 point at halftime, but then just got hot from beyond 3-point. I think there was like a 4-minute 40 stretch where they hit 5 3-pointers, went on a 17-3 run, and pretty much took care of Pittman. So they're playing well. They've won 4 straight games. That puts them at 3-1, tied for first. With a big week, they got Merced and Turlock this week. You got to see Merced play on Friday night. How are they playing? You saw them both days last week, actually.
I mean, to be fair, we kind of set them up for some failure there. Did a big story Monday about, this team has brought Merced's basketball program back into relevance. And they just didn't come ready to play in Turlock. They didn't have the intensity and the focus that they needed to get a road win there against a veteran group. And they were never really in it. They got down 12 points at the end of the first quarter. Turlock just kept expanding the lead from there. Merced couldn't attack the zone. They shot very poorly all game, and they kind of just played right into what Turlock wanted them to do. They had a good bounce back later in the week against Buhack. Another fast-paced, kind of ugly game about the defense and not a lot of shooting going around, but Merced was able to turn it on when they needed to. If they'd had that kind of effort against Turlock, it could have been a whole different game. and when they get out in transition, they're a much more effective offensive team.
Pretty good atmosphere out at Clemens Court.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I give the Turlock, the Buhack Colony student body a lot of credit. There hasn't been a lot to cheer about so far early in the conference season, but they're out there with pride doing it till the very end. I think for the most of the game, they were louder than the Merced kids on their own home court. So kudos to them. And, to give the team its due, they got great effort out of there. They're just not able to finish off games, but they've been competing with teams, and I imagine they're going to pick up a few surprises on the back end here.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about Atwater's win over Turlock shortly with Tony Hillyer when he stops by, but that win caught me off surprise. I mean, you got Atwater coming in at 0-3, haven't been playing well, haven't been shooting well. Turlock had been playing well, undefeated in league, and I was shocked when I heard that score.
Yeah, I mean, both of us assumed it was not going well because there had not been a single tweet out from the school all night. And if they were pulling off the upset there, it seemed like that would be all over the news. But they kept it quiet. They enjoyed themselves. I mean, it's a win they had to have. That win may have saved their season because they start off league 0-4. They may not have a chance to get back.
No, it's over. They're not going to get. I mean, they're going to be too far behind. They'd be 3 games behind.
Yeah.
These teams right here trying to chase them down with only 6 games left. It's just not going to happen.
So now the question is, can they bottle up that desperation and apply that to every game moving forward? Because they're not a bad basketball team, but they haven't played with that sense of urgency in some of the games out of the gate, and it's cost them.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of threw out the idea that maybe going undefeated in water polo, and so many of Atwater's basketball players played water polo, maybe that they put so much effort into water polo that they just had a hard time recharging their batteries for basketball and getting back in and trying to go for a basketball time. I mean, it's tough to go right from fall to a winter sport, especially when you have so many guys that were playing in the fall. Maybe that had a factor with Atwater early on.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge week for them. They got Buhack in the rivalry game, and then they're going to have Merced again. And they knock off Merced, all of a sudden the race opens right back up and they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 must-wins for Atwater this week. They have to win both. Then they're back at 3-3, and then they got a shot at possibly getting a playoff spot. The first one that told me about the Atwater win was Evan Stallone, and Golden Valley was just giddy once they heard the news, knew they were tied for first, knew that this was going to be a big week with Merced and Turlock. They got a chance now where they could sit atop the league if they can win out this week. Stallone's playing out of his mind right now, just the way he's scoring the basketball. I think in the last 4 games, he's had 2 23-point games, a 19-point game, and then 24 against Pittman. If they can get that type of scoring, that type of shooting, Josh Sykes played well inside. He had 21 points. You get Christian Carroll. I really like the way Golden Valley's playing going into this big week.
No, you talked about how they weren't necessarily playing great basketball in the first half of either of those games last week. But that's the type of team Golden Valley is. They can turn it on at any given time, more so than any of the other teams in the league because they have those shooters, and that's what makes them so dangerous. You could have an excellent half against Golden Valley and have it completely erased by the fact that they can knock down 10 threes in the second half. They got balance. Sykes is starting to become an offensive factor, like you said. He's had 2 right around 20-point games in a row, and they're getting good, solid bench play out of the rest of the guys. So, I still see them as the favorite moving forward, even though Turlock beat them the first time. Turlock's got to come here on Friday, and, that's their opportunity to get hold of the reins, I guess, of the league again.
Mm-hmm. Outside of the CCC, Mariposa keeps rolling along. They're 7-0, sitting atop the Southern League. They're going to have a big matchup coming up soon against Ripon Christian, where it'll probably decide whether they're going to split the title or just win it outright. They're sitting at 16-3. If they can keep on chugging along, they're looking at a decent seed going into the playoffs, and that's always important, especially if they can get teams that have to come up to Mariposa in those first couple rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I've got up there for the playoffs before. It's a tiny gym. They fill it to the brim. It's a long haul, especially for anybody from up north. So, that's a huge advantage for them, and they've earned it. They're 16-3 at this point in time. They've beaten some quality teams that are bigger than them in some of the tournaments, and if they could run the table in the Southern League, they could get a top 2, top 3 seed.
All right. Well, Tony Hillyer stopped by to talk about the big win. Here's what he had to say. All right, we're here with Atwater coach Tony Hillyer. Big win on Friday night. Season was kind of on the brink there. You guys started out 0-3 in the CCC. Talk about how big that win was for Atwater.
The first one's always the toughest one in the CCC. I mean, first of all the teams are really good.
You usually don't want to wait till that fourth to
get
that first one.
We had to get the monkey off our back, and it had to be Turlock, and it was a great win. But, I'm just saying that win right there is hopefully a start of, more wins to come. But it was tough getting that first one. It really was. I mean, Merced was a close one. Golden Valley took it to us, and Pittman was a close one. So we were due to win sooner or later. What's
the mindset Thursday at practice after losing to Pittman Wednesday night, and now your team's 0-3 and facing a tough Turlock team on Friday night?
Thursday's practice was intense. We had players getting mad and frustrated, but I have a great coaching staff. We came together and we brought them together and said, look, we have nothing to lose. We're 0-3. Turlock's 3-0. You just got to go out there and play basketball. See, we've been kind of going away from playing basketball and stressed about winning and stressed about executing everything and not playing. So we're forgetting how to play basketball. So I think the second half of practice on Thursday was really good because we went into situations and we just ran the offense and we started seeing things and people started having more fun. And so we kind of brought that back and took the stress off of us because I know we were stressed out. Being 0-3, we were really stressed out. So I really think the second half of practice on Thursday was a little more relaxed and the tensions were going away, but we still played hard and they went after it. And I know those boys wanted to win. It was our homecoming. Ben and I talked about it last year of who should we play. He said Turlock from the get-go, and I said, all right, let's go. And so
why schedule Turlock for your homecoming? Most teams schedule the worst team in league for a gimme win. You get the big crowd. You guys scheduled Turlock, one of the top teams in league. Talk about the decision there.
I was kind of taken back when Ben said that, but I understand the reasoning because first of all, when I got to Atwater last year, the schedule's already set with the contacts, and you have to have a 2-year contact with people. And this year was our second year with some of the contacts from lower divisions. So we want to kind of make a statement saying, look, our schedule was kind of weak in preseason, but that doesn't take away from how good our team really is. So why don't we play someone to get some respect? So we said from the get-go, when Ben said Turlock, I was like, all right, let's go Turlock. Because that's going to make a statement. Yeah, people talk about our preseason record and having 13 wins with the preseason that we had. It still doesn't take away from having 13 wins. I mean, 13 wins is 13 wins, regardless of who you play. And then to beat Turlock and have them at our homecoming to show that we're not scared of Turlock or anyone that we play. Because you're right, you're supposed to schedule someone easier during homecoming, but we decided to go the alternate route.
What did it mean for you to get a win against Turlock, Doug Cornfoot? You guys both coached at Del High together back in the day. That had to be a special win for you.
Jeez, you know what? Doug Cornfoot not only is like a mentor, but he's a good friend of mine, and it was a great win because number one, last year he swept me twice at his place and ours, and like it just meant a lot more just because of the fact we coached together, and I know how good of a coach he is, and it kind of measures how good a coach I am or how I'm improving in every aspect. Just to beat your mentor, it's kind of like you're better than your master. You take over the master's position because he's been up there. For 7 years we were working together hand in hand, and I learned so much from him. And I have high respect for that guy. And beating him just, not only did it feel good, but I'm just saying, I mean, it just shows that I'm improving as a coach.
Nice weekend for you after getting the win Friday as opposed to having to go into the weekend 0-4?
Yeah, really nice. I mean, honestly, I beat myself up after the Merced loss. I kind of lost some confidence. I'm not gonna lie. I was down on myself, and I think that my players felt it, and I wasn't my usual, happy self and stuff. So I think after the Pittman loss, I just took a look in the mirror and said, look, we can just go forward, or we can just count down the number of days the basketball season's over and start for next year. But, my wife was on me and everyone's on me, don't give up. So, I took the next day, Thursday, into consideration of not having that, feeling sorry for myself. So, I got up for the game, we practiced really well, and then we had a rally on Friday, and, the nest and the school spirit at Atwater High is the best in the valley, probably the best in the state. But that rally, and then we had a lunch. I mean, it just, it brought it back. It brought back my confidence, and I was in higher spirits. And yeah, I had a pretty good weekend.
as a coach, what's it like to see a celebration like that on Friday night?
Oh, it's amazing. I can't describe it because you have all those fans there, and you have parents, you have old alumni, you have coaches. I mean, it was just amazing to see everybody come together in that small gym and root for us. And we just had, I mean, the finish was just great. Just to win by 1, and honestly, Turlock had 2 chances to beat us down the stretch, and they missed. And it was the fans came out of the stands. It was crazy. It was like one of those college things, you know, when they win like the title or something.
So you get the win.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got a big week this week. You got Buhack on Wednesday, Merced on Friday.
Right.
You get to go to another one of your old stomping grounds, Buhack Colony. Just talk about how big this weekend is.
Well, we're 1-3. We need these 2 wins to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Buhack may be young and people may overlook them, but I know some of those players. I've coached a lot of those players. They have a lot of heart, and they're going to play us hard. Number one, it's kind of like how I want to beat Doug Cornfoot at Turlock. Those kids want to beat me. You know, they want to beat me, and they probably want to beat Anthony, because Anthony Del Hoya came from Buhack on that JV team that I coach. So I know they're going to gun for us.
And they've been playing these Atwater kids.
Yeah, whole life. They grew up. I mean, it's the same time. It's a rivalry game. What do you expect, you know? I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a good game. Everyone thinks it's going to be one-sided or lopsided. I don't think so. I think if you go either way, we just have to play hard and execute and make sure we stick with our game plan and don't get caught up in all this rivalry stuff, because we're both from Atwater, Buhack and Atwater. It should be a rivalry game, but it should be friendly. You know what I mean? I mean, I know those kids know our kids. We just, you know, we grew up together kind of. So that's going to be huge. The other one is Merced. I mean, that one, Hector Nava did a great job with that team. I mean, really, he did a really good job putting that team together and having them play well. So that's going to be a really good one because it's our house, and then we need redemption for them being.
Yeah, I mean, how much do your kids want payback against Merced?
They want it bad. I mean, seriously, I think we let that game Merced slip through our hands. I mean, we had so many unforced turnovers, but I mean, it's because Hector did a great job with those kids. You know, they're relentless. You know, their pressure and everything. You know.
You're expecting the Shawn and Shawn show bump this week. You were on last week and were able to win, or last year, and you were able to win the game against Buhack.
It was a year ago when Steve and I were sitting here with you guys and talking about the Hillyer hoedown, you guys called it. But yeah, I mean, I wanted you guys to call me earlier in the season, so you know.
So it's our fault you guys started out.
It kind of is. If you were here, if you would have had me here before the league started, I think we'd be in a different situation.
All right, we'll see what we can do next year.
We'll see.
All right, good luck this week.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the girls' side of the CCC. Buhack continues to do its thing. You've seen them a couple times. They haven't really been tested too badly so far. Any chance you see anybody knocking them off at this point in time, the way they're playing?
Well, I haven't seen Atwater yet, so we'll see that this Thursday when Atwater and Buhack play. I just think Buhack's got the best combination of defense and ability to score, although they didn't score a whole lot against Golden Valley the last game I saw. Both teams were kind of building houses out there, throwing up bricks, but Buhack Colony was able to get some turnovers early in that first quarter, and they were able to get some rebounds that kind of helped compensate some of the poor shooting. But I like Buhack Colony. I think they're still the favorite. I'm interested to see Atwater. You've seen them. But interesting week for Buhack. You know, talking to Shane Gentry, he acknowledged, you know, this is a big week. It's going to be a challenge for us. We're facing what he feels are the 2 best teams in the league other than themselves, and Atwater and Merced. They play Merced Tuesday night and Atwater on Thursday. It's going to be a challenge for them.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen them yet, but I've become familiar with the team over the last few years. Allison Wisdom's elevated her game to another level. She's always been an excellent ball distributor, always been a great defender. Now she's, you know, carrying the scoring load with Silva off at college. The Coward sisters continue to develop. They got Seals in the mix now. They're doing just enough offensively that their great defense is going to carry them through pretty much every game.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see if other teams try to do what Golden Valley did and just put the defensive focus on Allison Wisdom and try and force other players to shoot. I mean, they were just basically backing off the other shooters for Buhack Colony, just challenging them to shoot. And Buhack missed 13 straight three-pointers there in the second half before Kaylee Lynch hit a couple late. So if if the other players can't step up and score, I could see Buac in a couple close games here down the stretch. But just they're so strong defensively. They put so much pressure on the ball with Coward and Wisdom.
Right. Well, I mean, that's really the problem. Can you move the ball up the court against their press? Because that's really where they tend to separate themselves from the rest of the pack in the ball games. Even if they're having a poor shooting night, they can get 3, 4, 5 transition buckets in a row, build a little lead, and you don't get the opportunity to get back in the game against them. That's been Atwater's problem against them in the past. We'll have to see how J.R. Davis's squad responds to that, because he's got a veteran group. They've had close games with Buhack in the past, and they haven't been able to get it done. This is a team that believes it's their year, so that game should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you look at it, Atwater's got a chance of being 4-0 going when they face Buhack Colony. That's going to be a fun game on Thursday night. Should be a good atmosphere for a girls' basketball game. Merced, big week for them because they play Buhack Tuesday, then they face their rival Golden Valley on Thursday. Golden Valley can be a dangerous team, especially if Camille Flores gets going and Marissa Cervantes gets some baskets inside. I think Golden Valley will play a zone, kind of force Merced to shoot from outside, try and negate some of the speed advantage that Merced has. But a big week for Merced.
Yeah, especially if they want to get themselves back into the title race. This is their opportunity. They get that second loss. I think that might be enough to eliminate them. It's certainly going to ensure that they don't get outright title. I don't think Buhack's losing 2 games the rest of the year. Of course, they could end up losing 2 this week. So, I mean, we'll find out. But yeah, it's a big week for Merced. You kind of got to get past the emotional stuff with playing your crosstown rivals and just get down to what they do. They can press the ball also. They can push the ball up the court. They're not a great shooting team at this point in time, so I feel like that's what they need to do to be successful. Golden Valley, they just got to keep doing what they've been doing. They gut it out. They're not. They're a very young team, and they make you work for everything that you do, and that's kind of how they've kept themselves close in some of these other games.
If I had to pick the 3 playoff teams, it would be the 3 teams sitting atop the CCC right now, and Buhack, Atwater, and Merced. I just think those are the cream of the crop of the teams I've seen so far.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with that. I think Golden Valley's probably a year away from throwing themselves into that mix, but it wouldn't shock me if Matt Thiessen's squad knocks off 1 or 2 of them down the stretch. They catch them on, a night where they're not as focused.
Whereas if you look at the CCC boys, I don't know if you can say you got the 3 teams at 3-1, but let's see how Atwater does this week to see if they can get back in the race. If Atwater loses one of those games this week, I think they're out of the race, and you're looking at these 3.
Yeah, I think that's true too. Hillyer was talking earlier that they hadn't lost back-to-back games all season, much less 3 in a row. So he obviously got a nice positive response. Now the question is, can they build on that? If they can get their confidence back and start playing like how they were during the non-conference schedule, they got a chance to fight their way back in here.
Well, let's look at some of the matchups and make some predictions. Let's start with the girls' game Tuesday night. Buhack Colony going to Merced. Obviously, the Thunder's the favorite there. I just like their ability on defense, like we talked about before, pressuring them. I think they matched up with Merced earlier in the year, and they won that game by 12 points. Held Merced to about 30 points. Merced just did not play well offensively. I like Buhack here, but I think it's going to be a closer game. I think there'll be more points because I think Merced's playing a little bit better. I think Buhack's a better team.
I think Merced has a chance that they can shoot the ball well from the outside because Buhack will usually give you that. And if they can hold on to the ball, it's all about how they handle the pressure. If they can limit their turnovers and limit Buhack's number of opportunities, Buhack's rarely going to shoot the lights out against you. So you can keep the game close and kind of win it in the fourth quarter that way.
Let's go to the boys. Let's go with the crosstown rival game. You got Golden Valley against Merced. This game's going to be at Golden Valley on Wednesday night.
It's the way Golden Valley is playing at this point in time. It's tough to see Merced, even with all that athleticism, being able to hang with them for the entirety of the game. I don't think Merced can score with Golden Valley. I think they're going to be a little more prepared to play than they were against Turlock. But I don't see any scenario where Merced's coming out on top in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Golden Valley's going to blow them out, but I just think I like the way Golden Valley's they're shooting. I think they take care of the ball, so I don't know if Merced's press is going to have as much impact on them as other teams. And I just like Josh Sykes in the middle. You know, Merced doesn't have a lot of height, so I think Josh Sykes is going to be able to dominate the paint in that matchup.
That'll be one of the more interesting things because, as we said, Merced is most effective when they're driving in the basket. How much is Sykes going to alter those shots, or can they get in foul trouble and get him out of the game and kind of open things up for them? So that's going to be one of the big storylines, I guess, for both teams going in.
Thursday night, Buhack Colony against Atwater girls.
This one's always competitive. It's always close. I haven't seen Buhack so far in the year. But
I haven't seen Atwater.
But based off of some of Atwater's games, I don't know that they can just pull away from anybody. I think they have balanced scoring, but if they come out cold, it could be a long night for them against Buhack. They don't always take care of the ball as well as they should. I just see Buhack having too much firepower on this one.
And the key for Atwater in this matchup, in most games, you got to limit Buhack Colony to one shot. You can't allow offensive rebounds and let Buhack Colony shoot 72 times like they were able to do against Golden Valley. But I like Buhack in that matchup. I think it'll be kind of close. I don't see Buhack just running away from them.
No.
But until somebody knocks off the Thunder, it's hard to pick against them. Friday night boys game, Golden Valley against Turlock.
Turlock not really skipped a beat until that Atwater game, but I got to go with Golden Valley here. I think they're playing well. They got them at home. Something tells me it'll be a little more free-flowing game than the first time they played. You know, it's two very good teams, two teams that are built for the long haul, and I think it'll be a fun game. But I see, Golden Valley winning by maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah. The thing about Turlock is I think some teams, when they face Golden Valley, they don't really think they can win because Golden Valley has been so strong the past couple of years of going for their third straight CC title. Turlock doesn't. They know they can win. They beat them last time. I think Turlock thinks they're a better team than Golden Valley. They've got the height advantage. They might be a little bit deeper. Kenny Frazier's playing well. They got the 2 guards, Baines, McFadden, experienced guys there, only juniors, but playing their second year of varsity. Turlock's got the confidence, but I like Golden Valley here at home. They play well at home. They're undefeated this year in Cougar Arena. They shoot well there. It's going to be a big crowd. I just like the Cougars there, and I think the Golden Valley's going to have a big week.
I got to agree with you.
The last matchup, Merced goes to Atwater. You know Atwater's going to want revenge here. This is going to be a crucial game, especially Merced can kind of get some cushion away from Atwater here with a win, or Atwater pulls even probably with Merced. And then it's a dogfight to find out who wins that third playoff spot.
Yeah, I think this one comes down to the Atwater guards. The first time around, they got manhandled by Merced. Their quickness, they didn't even press them. They just waited back and let Atwater pass them the ball, and then they ran away in the transition game. If the Atwater guards can knock down a few shots, if they can take care of the basketball, Atwater's got a good chance of winning this. If not, I think it's going to be the same result as last time.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Merced here. I just think they've just been playing better over the course of the season. I just think their body of work's been better. They've been more consistent. Atwater's kind of been up and down. So I'll go with the Bears in that matchup.
All right, that's going to do it for this week. Thanks for watching the show. We'll see you out there all week, and have a good week.
Go Aztecs.